Of course, had a huge impact on Maine history in a whole variety of ways. At the city level with James Finney Baxter, at the state level with Percival Baxter, and even here at Maine Historical Society. James Finney Baxter was the president here for many years and was responsible for and took the lead in helping getting the library here built. So we're very appreciative of everything they've done for us and for the state. And I think today's event is really about two things, and one is really about the influence and the important contributions that Percival Baxter has made to Maine over many, many years in establishing and being committed to Baxter State Park, and also to really the significance of Baxter State Park and Mount Katahdin to the identity of Maine. It's really one of our most important, significant places in the state, and the critical part that I think many, many people of diverse backgrounds, from Native Americans to woods people to all sorts of tourists and other guests, really feel connected to in deeply important ways. So it's great to have the opportunity to honor that today and this week. I think at this point I'm now going to turn it over to Eric Baxter, who is a trustee of Maine Historical Society and member of the Baxter family, to say some words himself. So Eric.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, I'm honored to be here today as a member of the trustee of the Maine Historical Society, but also as a member of the Baxter family. And we have quite a number of people here from our family here, and I'm going to introduce the Baxter clan that are here today. My brother, Scott Baxter, lives in Manchester, New Hampshire, and his son, Griffin. And then the patriarch of our family, Jack Baxter, 92, from originally from Maine, but now living in Colorado. And my cousin, John Randolph Baxter, originally from Maine, but now living in Colorado. And my cousin, Connie Baxter Marlowe, same, Colorado, but originally from Maine, and her daughter, Allison Marlowe. And my other cousin, Judy Baxter, also from Colorado, but originally from Maine. So they, did I forget something? I did, I said Alec. No, Rupert is going to do the white. So anyway, welcome on behalf of the Baxter family. And the only one thing I wanted to say is, we're here today to celebrate the wonderful gift that our uncle, what we call him Uncle Percy, gave to the state of Maine, and absolutely incredible, groundbreaking event. But I wanted to mention that I think he would be proud of what's happened since he gave the park to the state of Maine. I've had the opportunity, along with my cousin Rupert, to be somewhat intimately involved over the years with what's happened with the park. I started working with the park on the advisory committee in 1980. Believe it or not, I mean, I'm still sort of an ex officio member, but I followed in my grandfather's footsteps and was involved in the first thing was in the hiring of Buzz Caverly as the fabulous executive director of the park, and other events that we've successfully, I think, done really great things that Percy would have been proud of. We dealt with the issue of the scientific forest management situation at the time, which was a mess, and that ended up in the hiring of Jensen Bissell, which is a great thing. The new head of the park, and Gene Huckwater as well, the park naturalist, who's just done magnificent things. We've dealt with the dismantling of the Kidney Pond camps, which was a very contentious issue, and dealt with the purchase of the Katahdin Lake and many other things. But so I think, the legacy goes on, and that's the really cool thing with everybody that's so interested and committed to the mission of our uncle, makes that happen and supports that effort, and it's been really remarkable. So thank you all for coming, and I'd like to turn it over to my cousin Rupert Baxter White.
My brother Houghton is here, and my nephew James Finney Baxter White, and his Hody's wife Mary is here from our family. There are a lot more of us, but they're scattered all over the country. I wanted to talk just a little bit about Uncle Percy and his attitude toward things. He was a very modest person, and he didn't really like a lot of publicity. He made an awful lot of enemies when he was in politics. He was opposed by the Ku Klux Klan, which was very powerful in Maine in 1920. He was opposed by the temperance people for having a drink up at Mount Katahdin. He was opposed by the Protestant clergy in Maine because he supported to some degree the Catholic Church. He was very much in favor of women's suffrage, and he was definitely an enemy of the power companies and also the paper companies, which didn't make it easy for him to acquire all the land that he did. But I thought it would be interesting just to see what happened when he was running for office. He was attacked by a Reverend Jensen F. Marvin, pastor of the Church of the Messiah on Morning Street in Portland. And the gist of his attack was this. The facts below, he sent this circular to every minister in the state. To the clergymen of Maine, the facts below have been judged controversial by the press, and on that account, refused for publication. I am therefore placing this in your hands, trusting that you will give them from your pulpit the publication which they merit. I won't read all of them because they're, aside from being very absurd, they're also too lengthy. But I'll give you a few excerpts. Following the death of the late Pope, Governor Baxter cabled Rome, picturing the citizens of Maine standing with bowed heads in sorrow at the death of this high Catholic dignitary. And he goes on to say why he feels that was not appropriate. Governor Baxter visited the public and parochial schools of Lewiston. Later, he wrote to Johnny Dunn, a parochial student, congratulating him on the welcoming speech to their distinguished guest and reminding him of the pride he should have in the splendid school under the care of the sisters and Monseigneur. This letter was given wide publicity. Not a word was sent out from the governor's office concerning the proficiency of the public schools. And third item, Easter Sunday, the governor attended the Sacred Heart Church. He was a member, I believe, of the Congregational Church. The Baxter organ installed by the governor to commemorate his Catholic sister was dedicated. Didn't the Protestant people feel grieved that the governor was absent from his own church on this day of days in the Christian calendar? It goes on in the same vein, but it just goes to show what sort of thing he was up against and how narrow-minded people can be. He was a very generous person. He always, if he's sent anything to people, he always enclosed a little note with it that said, "Don't tell anybody I did this." And I think that characterizes his being. He was a very nice person, and it was a pleasure to have known him as well as I did.
And it's a pleasure for us to have so many Baxter relatives here and people who did know him, because they're getting to be fewer and farther between. And it's always good to be reminded of his generosity. And I think we all have heard about that today at every venue we've been, and we all appreciate that.